Hello, everybody. No intro, just happened to be sitting at my laptop and sitting at my computer, and I just wanted to come on and talk a small bit about some breaking news that is just coming down the pipes. That Carney Chukwuemeka's time at Aston Villa looks to be over. Well documented that he was refusing to sign a new contract. Steven Gerrard had left him at home from the Aussie tour, and it now looks like Chelsea have reached an agreement for the permanent transfer of Carney Chukwuemeka, posted by the Aston Villa official Twitter, retweeted by Phil McNulty, retweeted by Ashley Priest. This thing is happening. Retweeted by Matt Law, retweeted by absolutely anybody. It's completely out of the blue, and this is something I think that is good in the greater scheme of things, because the fact that if we've got some, how am I going to put this, disgruntled employees at the club at this moment in time, it's going to be good, I suppose, to kind of ship them out as quick as we possibly can. All the talent in the world, kind of Chukwuemeka did, but what it seems to be is that he just didn't have the balls for the fight, or maybe he wanted his money or something along those lines. I absolutely completely forgot to pop up a Twitter link, so apologies everybody who's here. I'm just going to pop up something here on Twitter just to let everybody know that we're on and we can get some of their comments, because I'm not going to make this this a long one. So there we go. Just pop that up there. Apologies, bit of housekeeping. Thanks a million to Stephen Wright. Thanks a million to Dylan L. Thanks a million to Be Happy. Thanks a million Welsh Woody for joining already. I'll pop up a couple of your comments here. Stephen Wright says plenty of first team opportunities and a laughing face. I think that's the big thing here. The thing that's sticking in my craw is that he was looking for first team opportunities. He was looking for more game time. He probably would have got that at Aston Villa, and if he wanted a top class loan, Villa could have found him a top class loan. This is very much about the big bucks. Villa are going to be getting 20 million pounds. Villa set their price. Chelsea look like they're going to pay it, 20 million pounds. I think it's a fair price for somebody, as I said before, that has played 301 minutes in the season just gone. So look, it is what it is. Carney Chukwuemeka looks like he's going to be London bound, and he's not going to be part of the Aston Villa squad for any longer. And that gives us 20 million as well, guys. So what that also does, I suppose, for Aston Villa, and we'll chat about that in a moment, is that gives us a couple of options. Don't be thinking that that's not going to be reinvested this year. I would imagine that is going to be reinvested. And 20 million for somebody who wasn't contributing in the first team manner last season, nor wasn't going to be contributing this season, is huge for a team like Aston Villa, specifically when we're looking for a number 8 type player, or even maybe another striker. I know we keep on saying that, but it's like 20 million is 20 million. You know, you can't sniff your nose at that. So up to Don Lang to go way out, along with Purslow, along with Gerrard, along with everybody else, and try and find a suitable replacement, or somebody who's going to offer something to the club in the coming season. So we're going to talk a bit about Carney Chukwuemeka. I'm just checking Twitter here to make sure there's no other breaking news on it at the moment. Lads, if there's anybody out there, is AVFC Stato listening? If AVFC Stato is listening, or any of the other guys, or anybody else here that is able to Google, because I don't want to be Googling when I'm on the stream, because there'll be a lot of dead noise and dead silence. So pop it in the comments. Where would 20 million rank as one of our most expensive sales? I'm struggling to think of. Benteke, Jack Grealish, Carney? Anybody there want to let me know what 20 million is for Aston Villa? Because we're not renowned for selling players for a lot of money. We're certainly not. We're not renowned for that. We're certainly not renowned for selling 19-year-old players for a price that we set, number one, specifically in the last year of our contract. And I know he's got all the potential in the world, but, you know, Chelsea are buying that potential for 20 million. So fair play to them. Let them go and develop him if they want. Water under the bridge for us. But that 20 million is going to be worth a lot to us. Because as I say, this could be the difference between us going and lobbing money at someone like Ibrahim Sangare or somebody like that. And we will. I'm actually might even come back later on and do a piece on Ibrahim Sangare, because as I say, I keep on saying I'm going to do it. I just haven't got around to it. I keep forgetting about it because I've got all these other podcasts lined up. But he's a superbly interesting player. So it's going to be an interesting one. I see people here in the comments saying Gallagher as well. Milner sold for 24 million. Yes, that is correct. Milner was sold. Downing was 20 million as well. Once again, correct as well. Yeah, I'm just looking there. I don't know. Is there many more than that? So like he could be coming in at like our giant fourth top sale ever of all time, and he only played 301 or 310 minutes for us in the Premier League last season. Yes, he went away, and he's the best. Probably was the best under-19 player in Europe in that competition that they played this season. So fair play to him. But Villa, I think, have done some decent business here. Considering that he wasn't going to play again, he had 1 year left in his contract, and we got 20 million for him. And when you put it in the greater scale of what we've sold players for, that to me is a plus point. Let's take a little look here. Welsh Woody says, pathetic. You'll just go out and loan to various clubs and they'll sell him on for profit. I presume pathetic towards him as opposed to Villa, because I think that I might be missing something. Not that you were here, Welsh Woody, but this is for everybody who's watching. If anybody is a counterfactual to this, or anybody thinks that maybe I'm missing something because this is just breaking and I haven't had time to get the cogs turning on this one yet, is there a negative of this to Villa in the year coming 2022, 2023 of this sale? We could say there's a potential negative in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years' time, 100%. And if he picks up a Ballon d'Or or something along the way, we're obviously going to be saying, fuck it, that's the one that got away. But is there a negative as of right now that that I'm not thinking of by selling Carney for 20 million? But I do agree with you, Welsh. He's going to go out and loan, and I think Aston Villa could have got him some very, very high class loans if he really just wanted to play. If he wanted to play 40 games this season, or even if he wanted to play 38 games in the Premier League, I can guarantee you Villa would have probably got him a loan at somebody like a Fulham, or even if he could have got a loan in any of the top leagues in Europe. No problem whatsoever. But there was an ulterior motive. The negotiations broke down. I think there was bad blood between everybody. And look, there's a parting of the ways with Villa getting 20 million for somebody who played just over 300 minutes last season, albeit has the potential to be a top class midfielder as well. So Jonathan asks here, is there another agenda, as in Conor Gallagher? Interesting. As I say, I'm on a bit of a time constraint here, so I might be back later on again, lads, to do the whole who might we sign, who mightn't we sign piece. And if not, I'll be back in the morning to do it. But it's just an interesting one that I wanted to pop on to see what your thoughts were, because, as I say, is there a massive negative behind this? Can anybody see a downside to this? And I'm talking specifically within the next 12 to 18 months, because I sure as hell can't see one, to be honest with you, with the sale of this. So Super Tommy Tuchel says here, great to have some Chelsea fans on board. Can we talk about the player? I'm going to be really honest. He's all the potential in the world, Super Tommy Tuchel. He really has. He's a dynamic player. I'm going to say he's one-paced. So if you're expecting a massively fast player, one of my criticisms of him is I'm not sure if he's going to be number 8 in the Premier League. I think he's either going to be a 10 that can make the plays around the box, or maybe he I don't even think he can play in the 6th position, because I don't think that he's very defensive minded. But look, he's a very good player. He gets in around the box for his age. He's the dominant player, one of the dominant players in Europe. Like, we're not going to stand away and say that. But he's very good at one-touch passes. He's very good at he can carry the ball for somebody who doesn't have lightning pace. And that's not really a negative. I'm just stating that if you're expecting somebody to have the pace of Raheem Sterling running through the middle, it ain't going to happen. You know, he is pretty one-paced, whether it's in defense or in attack. And as I say, that's not really a negative. But he came on a couple of times for Villa last season. He was unlucky not to score against Man City. We had real high hopes for him. Would have loved to have held on to him, but alas, it didn't work out. I think in his debut, if somebody wants to his Premier League debut, if somebody wants to correct me on this, did he ping one off the post against Spurs? I think not last season, the season before. So he's been thrown in at the deep end at a young age, and he's going to take some time learning. But he's a project player, but like, his ceiling is right up there. So fair play to you guys. You've taken, and we've gotten 20 million, which is what we wanted, for a guy in the last year of his contract. So no real animosity from me. The only animosity is he seems to be a bit of a Billy Big Balls. Maybe it runs in the family. His brother went to Livingston last year and basically went on loan to Livingston, basically didn't do a whole pile, and was criticised by his manager in nearly every game he played, was whipped off after 10 minutes, I think, in a couple of games. That was his brother, Caleb, still with the club. Haven't ruled him out, maybe staying with the club, unfortunately, career with Aston Villa as well, but he doesn't have the talent of Carney. Carney's talents go above that, but whether his work rate and whether his mentality are there, that's still all the way up in the air, considering the way that he's handled these negotiations. And you would have to say that might be a question mark, but once again, it hasn't stopped some players, the players like with the likes of Neymar, hasn't stopped players like Cristiano Ronaldo, I suppose, at times, reaching their full potential. So if he can reach his full potential, you guys have got a cracking player on your hands. But then again, the barrier to the first team for him might be a small bit big at Chelsea at the moment. So I wouldn't expect to see him in and around the first team for maybe a year or two yet. And will he want to stay? That's why he didn't want to stay at Aston Villa as well. So they're the only question marks I would have with him. But with the ball at his feet, he's a genius. Like, he's really good with the ball at his feet. And at his own age group, he's head and shoulders ahead of everyone else. Where else are we? Where else are we here? Where else are we? The Duffmeister says, good bloody riddance. We were matching Man United for draw, no transfer nonsense. Yeah, they do need to sign somebody, I think, or if they need to sign Frankie de Jong, it's going to be seen as a bit of a disaster for them this season, because there's been so much written about it so far. But that's a completely different club, and we won't talk much more about Manchester United, because I'm sure they'll pull rabbits out of hats over the next coming weeks. Welshwoody says, if this is a sweetener for Gallagher, I'll be happy. I think a lot of people are having their money on Gallagher at the moment, and maybe I completely forgot, Welshwoody, Gallagher is a Chelsea player. Maybe 2 and 2 is making 4. I like that. I didn't think of that, because he's been loaned out so much at the moment that, you sometimes you forget who his parent club are. And I was there going, oh yeah, we'll go and bid for Gallagher from Crystal Palace, but he's a Chelsea player. Maybe you're onto something. Who knows? There wasn't a fee, like Phil Nolte said it was a £20 million fee, but there wasn't a fee announced by Aston Villa just yet. So we'll see on that. Barry Robertson says, could be the worst decision he's made. He'll be in the championships next season. He isn't worth 100k. And for me, he never showed anything like Grealish or Ramsey had when they were in the team. Yeah, if the rumors are to be believed about the 100k that his agent was looking for per week, I suppose, look, for somebody who played, and I keep going back to the 300 plus, just the 310 odd minutes that he played for Aston Villa in the league last season. You have to ask him and go, where does that justify 100,000 per week? And I think that's obviously, if that is true, and no one knows whether it's true, well then I can imagine why eyebrows were raised around the boardroom of Aston Villa. So where are we? Anybody else come up with any more players that were sold for more than Carney? So we have 3. Young and Target were sold for around 15, 17. Yeah. Yeah, I think Noel, we're dead right. We should retire his shirt. I think we need to retire his shirt. Yeah, absolutely. Just like Jude Bellingham and the Birmingham situation, we should retire his shirt. No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to retire Carney's shirt. Where else are we? And sorry, guys, I know I'm missing some of them. I'm on a bit of a time constraint. I have about 2 or 3 more minutes left here, but as I say, I might be able to come back later on and chat more about it once I've got my mind around potentially who could come in here. Mark says Villa turned a player with potential into a 100 million player. He's whinged and whined. Good riddance. He's gone. He got a load of chances and did nothing. Where else have we? Jude McCarthy says, and Jude, thanks very much for that DM you sent me earlier on. I think that was you actually. I think you're the only Jude that sent me a DM in the recent past. But he says that Chelsea signed an 18-year-old US keeper for 10 million and loaned it back to Chicago Fire. Now 20 million for Carney. Does Todd Bowley know what he's doing? I think he does, and I think what they're doing is they're just building the dynasty. Chelsea did this about 10 years ago with the likes of Aaron Robin, with the likes of Alex. They were buying players and loaning them out to take the place of players that were maybe getting on in years. And I think Chelsea are probably seeing that at the moment with their team that they're looking at. Well, if we don't buy them, someone like City will buy them, or someone like Bayern Munich will buy them, or somebody like Barcelona will buy them, because Barcelona are buying up every decent young player in Spain at the moment that can even tie his shoelaces, and that's gone under the radar from the unbelievable scouting that they're doing with young players, even like in the second, third division. And that's what I got, the likes of Pedri, Gavi, all those guys. So there's method to the madness in Barcelona at the moment, and I'm not on the boat of that they are going to be out of business in a year or two's time. They will not be out of business in a year or two's time. If anything, they'll be back up towards the top in the next 3 to 5 years' time, because of the great young business they're doing as well. But that's not here. I keep on talking about other teams. Sorry. Keep on talking about other teams. Gazzo Oaks, good to see you guys. He says if we could got Gallagher, surely we would have. Yeah, but I think it's probably not as easy with that negotiation to say with player swaps. I know I've spoke to an agent before who wouldn't come on the podcast, and he said player swaps are extremely difficult to do within England, that they're a lot easier to do coming from another country, and then went into all this rigmarole that kind of went. I was about 6 points in, so it definitely went over my head when I was speaking about it. So player swaps they get contractually very difficult to do. And I think the Villagers probably went, wait, listen, look, we get 20 million, we'll go back, we'll talk about Gallagher. And that you kind of see that sometimes, that it forms good relationships between the clubs, and then when they go back, they talk more. They're probably having conversations about Conor Gallagher, if that is the case now. I don't even know if they like Conor Gallagher at all. But as I said, the 2 and 2 making 4 situation here is an interesting one, should it be the case. Whisper of the Heart says, do we need another midfielder? Yes, I'm going to say we do. I'm going to say we do, because I think if we get El Ghazi, Traore go out, I think that we're going to need to bring a ball carrier in to play us through the middle, maybe somebody who's got a bit more heft to him and a bit bigger. While we got Kamara, who plays the ball around and sprays the ball around an awful lot. I think we need somebody in there who's a bit more of a who can come in and maybe change it up a small bit inside there. So I think Stephen Gerrard thinks he needs another midfielder, because I think it would be remiss to go in with Sanson being probably the next man off the bench after either Dougie or Jacob Ramsey, whoever the other two is. And then after that, we're kind of really, Marvelous Nakamba. I don't know if Marvelous Nakamba have a future. We haven't seen him in weeks. We haven't seen him in since the Walsall game. I don't think so. Is Marvelous Nakamba the future for Villa at the moment? I don't know. And if he isn't, then I think we're going to need someone in the 8 position, because young Tim seems to have usurped him in there. But who knows? It could just be getting legs into players, minutes into players' legs at the moment. Where are we? Sorry, guys. There. Romano said 15 million plus add-ons. I find Romano popped up here on my friend Fabrizio. 50 million plus add-ons. Chelsea will seal 6-year deal valid until 2028. Yeah, Romano said that. Phil Nulty said 20 million. Maybe it's 20 million overall. I've been big in saying, yeah, give us 20 million now, and we still want 30% of any sell-on clause, any profit in the sell-ons. I think they shouldn't be backward about doing that either. Dwight York went for 18 million. That's correct, and that was a huge amount of money, I suppose. If when you think about that, and still to this day, I still haven't forgiven my mother for not being as pissed off about Dwight York being sold as I was. I absolutely lost it with her. I went into the kitchen and went, "Ma'am, Dwight York has been sold," and she goes, "Who's what? Dwight York's been sold? All right, yeah." And I was like, "No, you need to be really angry, because I'm really pissed off about this." That was 13-year-old pre-adolescent or maybe mid-adolescent man coming out at me. My anger about Dwight York being sold was off the scale that way. Right, guys, I am going to leave it at that. Thanks so much, everybody. We have 161 people watching. Can you please give this a thumbs up? I may come back later on again once I've got a small bit more time to chat about this. We might talk about potentials after this, but I think this is good news. I think it's good we got it done now before the season starts. 20 million into our coffers, or 15 million, whatever the case it is. It's still a big chunk of cash that will allow us to attack that market again, should we feel the need to. We're probably, actually, if you think about it at the moment, if we sell Bertie, if we sell Gilbert, we sell maybe Keenan Davis, we could be Transfer FC and end up in profit again, profit this season, just like we did last season. I know that's not what people want to hear, but at some stage you want to be operating in some sort of a profit as well. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think investment needs to happen in midfield and in attack, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we will see something like that again. Right, guys, I'm going to talk to you later on. Thanks a million to the 161 legends who popped on at short notice. Thumbs up, please. Really appreciate the thumbs up. And if you think of anybody that might like this podcast, put them on to us. Tell them about the link, tell them about our podcast, and tell them to subscribe as well. But you're all legends. Thanks a million. See you later. And Neil out. Not out yet. I'll find my outro.